A piano piece has gained enormous popularity on YouTube in recent years. It's called Passacaglia, and is said to have been composed by Georg Friedrich Handel and the Norwegian composer Johann Halvorsen. This attribution is a misunderstanding, but it's just one of the confusing aspects surrounding the piece. Only 4 measures are inspired by Handel and serve as a model. More significantly, Handel's original has been shortened in the YouTube version to such an extent that the truly interesting parts of his original are omitted. There are complex reasons for this. In this video, we'll explore them and reflect more broadly on the differences between undemanding musical taste and the standards of musicians. And we'll show why the popular Passacaglia still offers a perfect introduction to classical improvisation for both beginners and advanced players. There are reasons why the YouTube version of the Handel Passacaglia is so popular. First of all, there's the melodic pattern, which, in a kind of virtual 2-part harmony, pairs a sustained note with notes from a moving melody. This creates a lively offbeat energy that can also be found in other extremely popular pieces. For example, in Bach's Third Partita for solo violin. Or in Mozart's Piano Sonata in B-flat major, Cockle No. 333. The YouTube Passacaglia combines these characteristics with a sequence pattern, which the YouTuber Pianistos has turned into a clever move. In his version, he and others transpose Handel's original to A minor and supplement it with an Alberti bass-like accompaniment. Why is this so clever? The piano part is limited to the white keys, and piano students need only learn a single pattern with their left hand, which they can then simply shift across the keyboard. Unlike Handel's original, the piano arrangement ends with a succinct closing phrase. The variations consist of register changes and modular variations, all maintained at the same low level of expression. Thus, this online version of the Passacaglia aligns with the now popular neoclassical genre, with its minimalist aesthetic that avoids complex harmonic developments. Max Richter and Ludovico Einaudi, for example, have perfected this style. It is foreseeable that the genre will be swallowed up by artificial intelligence. Its harmless, pleasant aesthetic, which certainly has its merits, aligns perfectly with the strengths of artificial intelligence. Melodiousness and emotional balance certainly have their appeal. But for those who want to engage with music for music's sake, this is not enough. Musicians and consumers seeking relaxation, therefore, have different criteria. This is where things get interesting when considering Handel's original. The fragment that made its way into the YouTube Passacaglia is, in fact, only half of what Handel actually wrote. And it's the harmless half. The second half packs a punch. We'll present and analyze it a little later. Before that, it's worth giving some more specific thought to how undemanding consumers and musicians listen to music. Conflicts keep shining through here. On the one hand, publishers want music they can sell, music that's easy to play, immediately understandable and moving. On the other hand, composers want to create soundscapes that challenge listeners emotionally and intellectually. It's relaxation versus irritation, unwinding versus rebellion, having a good time versus being provoked. This means that musicians who create or interpret music that evokes a response are not seeking melodiousness and emotional balance, but rather structures that are unpredictable and surprising, harmonies that create tension and release and can be painful, rhythms that make you stumble, and unwieldy melodies whose direction is unclear. Before we examine why the YouTube version of the Passacaglia omits precisely this unsettling part of Handel's original, let's take a look at the historical development of both the original and the YouTube version. Handel most likely composed the G minor harpsichord suite, of which the Passacaglia is a part, in London following an extended trip to Italy. He self-published the suites. They were presumably intended primarily for teaching purposes. A Passacaglia is a rather solemn dance in 3/4 time and is usually in a minor key. It is based on a 4 or 8 measure bass line, the so-called basso ostinato, or simply a harmonic pattern. Handel's Passacaglia is based on the harmonic progression G minor, C minor, F major, B major, E flat major, A minor, half diminished, D major and G minor. It consists of all the scale degrees of the Aeolian scale in G minor, arranged as a descending fifth progression. The descending fifth progression concludes with a 2-5-1 cadence in G minor. In 1893, the Norwegian composer Johan Halvorsen arranged the Passacaglia into a duet for violin and viola. This outstanding arrangement remains very popular among string players to this day. In the 21st century, several YouTubers have created a piano piece in the minimalist style of neoclassicism based on a short fragment of the Passacaglia, namely, the aforementioned harmonic progression. This piece, rather than Handel's original, is now a hit in piano lessons. However, this raises several points of confusion. It is unclear why the YouTube version is incorrectly labeled as the Passacaglia by Handel and Halvorsen. In fact, it has absolutely nothing to do with Halvorsen's string arrangement. Furthermore, it seems unclear to whom the authorship of the basic ideas behind the piano arrangement can be attributed. YouTube videos suggest that, in addition to the aforementioned pianistos, another YouTuber named Whittier played a major role in it. So what is the YouTube version omitting? In the 11th section of Handel's Passacaglia, we do indeed find the harmonic and melodic material that forms the basis of the YouTube version. However, Handel does not stop there. In the 12th and 13th sections, he develops the model in an astonishing and unique way. The melodic movement remains static in an Alberti bass form, while the harmonies, on the other hand, seem to take whimsical paths. The G minor chord is followed not by C major, but by a diminished E chord, which could lead anywhere. Instead of F major, the dominant chord F major 7th follows, suggesting a resolution to B flat. Instead, a diminished D follows. Then, even more astonishingly, a chromatic shift to diminished C sharp. It concludes first with the perfect cadence D7 to G minor, and is then expanded with a minor half diminished, D7 and G minor. This is the typical 2-5-1 cadence, which is part of the standard repertoire of jazz musicians. One more detail is puzzling. In the descending line that leads back to G minor at the end, the E flat is raised to E, creating a Dorian scale. But why? Put together and repeated as a whole, it sounds like this. Here, Handel experiments with unconventional sounds that are likely to overwhelm the casual listener, but present the musician with exciting puzzles. If he follows the bass progression E, E flat, D, C sharp, C, he discovers what is known as a lament bass, a chromatically descending line that comes across as quite theatrical here. This expansion of the Passacaglia scheme is not conducive to relaxation. Rather, it encourages engagement. That is the fundamental concern of serious composers. One might therefore wonder whether the YouTube version of the Passacaglia credits Handel as the composer. The 4 measures taken from the Passacaglia as a model are of such an anonymous and generic nature that one can hardly speak of a work by Handel. The Passacaglia pattern is ideal for improvisation exercises. You can play and vary your own arpeggios and leading tones over it. You can also create so-called guidelines and, in doing so, develop a feel for which notes sound out of place over major chords. Details on this and a step-by-step guide to getting started with Passacaglia improvisation can be found in a PDF available for download from the Academia l'Art website. You will find a link in the comments. Johann Sebastian Bach's famous C major prelude can also serve as a great introduction to jazz harmony. You can find more on this in this video. And if you'd like to learn more about the theoretical foundations of academial art, you should definitely watch this video.